Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I thought that was worth noting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was interruptions. Oh, one thing I wanted to say too about you getting a little upset just on that side of things. I'm fine with that, and I actually am even for it in the sense that it shows that you're taking this stuff seriously. I mean, the main danger with that is that I will adopt, the mode of conversation that I think that I'm in. So if I enter into a, take your head out of your ass kind of conversation, then basically,
Mhm.
I'm going to be saying similar things. Not just to get back, but I mean on the things where I think, well, here's where you're way behind or whatever. So it's kind of okay, but it is better to find an even-handed thing, definitely. Um, I think it's really important, this idea that our allies differ with us. I mean, for me, somebody isn't really a candidate even for being an ally of mine, though they can be great people and I can get along with them. But I mean, an ally working on something together until I find disagreement. If somebody agrees with me in everything, we don't need just extra pairs of hands, and I'm pretty suspicious of that. So I like differences. I don't mind if they get emotional because people care about what they're saying. That's far better than when somebody avoids emotion because they just don't talk about anything very important to them.
Yeah, I what you're saying is hitting home for me. Uh, I believe conflict can be very useful. It can be a place of great learning. And if we're all just nodding our heads and agreeing with one another, then I would be very suspicious with that as well. It's sorry, the son's having a good time here.
Nice, sweet.
Um, so yeah, and that's exactly what's going to drive diversity. I mean, I really think, um, when I look at our evolutionary past, and and, and when I read about things from Peter Farb, like in Man's Rise to Civilization, it shows it shows me, when the peoples that were living on this continent, thousands of languages being spoken, uh, thousands of different cultures living, side by side. And one thing that's remarkable is, you couldn't just leave your tribe and go to another one. Ethnically, that just didn't work out. I mean, like for us, we can go to any other city in the world and be easily accepted. Um, I think it's diversity and difference that will, help this organic, uh, way. If it is to occur, if we are to really induce change, then yeah, that's the only way it's going to really become healthy. So this is, I knew there was more than what I was hearing, and so this is very helpful for my own thinking, and
Good.
and the what there's yeah, I one thing that impresses me is, but these peoples weren't isolated though. I think this is worth spending a minute or two on. Whenever if you read the journals of the the conquistadors or the priests that were coming over here to indoctrinate uh, indigenous peoples into our way of believing and doing and living. They always found that the indigenous peoples spoke almost all the languages of the peoples that lived around them.
Oh,
That
really?
they and that's really powerful. I mean, I think it's really rare where I live, or have lived in all the places in the past, to find anybody who even speaks more than one language. And I mean, this shows, first of all, that they were willing to sit down with one another, often enough, and to actually learn from one another. So they could sit down and counsel. They weren't just always clubbing each other over the head,
Right. Well,
um,
well, one, yeah.
because it was necessary to have that sort of exchange.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
one misconception about tribal living is that it's xenophobic, and when in reality that was pretty rare. Really, it was more accepting. People really showed a lot more of interest in things that were alien and wonder. And this xenophobic thing really probably is more a product of the civilization and the way that we have evolved. The ability to move is definitely a good example of something I want to preserve from the so-called modern world, to move around and for that to be socially acceptable as well as technically possible. Um, so, so yeah, I think I'm gonna stop recording, but we could still talk for a little bit if you want and wrap up. And but before too, did you? Okay, so I wasn't sure. I told you I was recording the call, but I'm not sure if you thought it was just audio. I mean, I have a video recorder, so is that okay, or do you want me just to use the audio?
oh, you've been. I don't have your. I tried getting your video up, but is it not on or?
No, my video's on and I see you.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. Maybe I screwed up. I might be looking at a different video window in another tool in this cam twist thing.
Yeah.
Uh,
I clicked on my Skype or your on your window there. It wouldn't
oh,
wasn't coming up for me.
hello?